How is everybody doing? How is everybody? How is everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. A lot is happening in Azania, South Africa, our land. We've already spoken multiple times about that worthless, meaningless waste of time and waste of money event called the National Dialogue that is currently began in the nation's capital of Pretoria, Tswane. And I've covered quite a few items. What I wanted to do today is to make some reaction about some kid that has been going viral now on South African social media because she was invited to participate in this so-called national convention, national dialogue. Her name is Sandra Leshabela, 16, 17-year-old kid, if I'm not mistaken. She might be 18. And what I'm hearing is that she's the national RCL president. And there's quite a bit of her clips that have been making rounds on social media of her saying things, and people are apparently being very impressed by her. And I must say that South Africans are easily impressed. It's one of the problems that we are facing as South Africans, is that South Africans are easy to impress. There is a low threshold to impress South Africans. All you have to do is have a little bit of eloquence and private school English, and then South Africans are going to wrap their hopes and dreams around you. This obviously has not happened. It's not the first time it has happened. It has been happening for quite a while with that man called Fusi Tembekwayo, who a lot of South Africans who don't even know what he is saying, they just get wowed by him, and then they say, "Run for president." It is basement level kind of thinking, and it also happened recently with that young man, Liam Jacobs, if I'm not mistaken. I covered his story in a video before. I'm going to link it on the description below. When I was saying to South Africans, this Liam individual is not your Messiah. He's not your salvation. And then now here's this kid now who was invited by Cyril Ramaphosa, the absentee president, to this national dialogue crap. And people are now calling her the future president and future leader and all of that stuff. And I just wanted to share my thoughts about this, because this is a big problem. I've said countless times that the problems that are facing South Africa are not necessarily the government, but the problems that are bedeviling South Africa is the electorate. We have a big problem with the electorate. I covered that when I was covering new political formations, that the electorate in South Africa, the people are so, there's ignorance, and then there's lack of education, and then there's just a lack of critical skills, being able to see things and critically analyze them and say, okay, I need to see more. And so, because people lack critical skills in South Africa, they are impressed a lot by personality. So charisma, eloquence is what mesmerizes South Africans. And you can't build a nation, you can't build anything when the key qualifying characteristics are charisma and eloquence. Those two things are not proxy for competence, they're not proxy for being qualified. We've addressed this issue several times. Maybe I haven't really done it as a standalone video, but I addressed it in several videos, maybe as a subplot or as a sub topic of what I'm addressing. But if you've watched several of my videos, you know that I've covered this issue. Or say, do not be impressed by people because of their charisma or because of their eloquence. Those two things are not going to tell you anything about anyone. I've even addressed the issue of age. That South Africans are fixated with this issue of age. That the problems that are facing South Africa is because we have old leaders. If we have young leaders, we wouldn't have these problems. Really? Is that really what is our present issue? Is to have teenagers and early 20s, maybe late 20s people in government? Is that really the key metric of competence? Is this how companies everywhere in the world measure competence? That you are a teen or you're in your early 20s, and that this is an irrefutable sign that you are competent. So that there is a whole lot of things for me which make people leave the country. Because it's not just that we have bad leaders in South Africa. It's that even if we remove these bad leaders, the thinking of most Africans is not proper and suited to be able to rationally and properly analyze and evaluate candidates. Because what is looked at are issues that are superfluous, superficial, extraneous, and irrelevant. That's often what tends to happen. They're not looking at they're not measuring on the majors. They are majoring on the minors. They are majoring on irrelevant issues like age, gender, race, eloquence, charisma. All of these things which are not a sign for anything. Let me make an example. Do you think that if Elon Musk, probably one of the smartest people to live in the 21st century, were to run for president in South Africa, do you think that South Africans would actually consider him and vote for him? The answer is that no. That even though he's one of the most competent people of the 21st century, he lacks things that people like South Africans look at: race, gender, charisma, and eloquence. As far as I understand, Elon Musk has a stutter, if I'm not mistaken. And so then the mere fact that he has a stutter or he has some sort of speech impediment already would mean that he will be disqualified from running from most political offices, because what qualifies people into these political offices, it's not competence, but it's whether are you able to say nonsense eloquently. That's basically what it's based on. Are you able to say crap eloquently? Where you are basically can sell ice to Eskimos as long as you are eloquent. That is a very sad indictment of the state of affairs. And with that said, which is why then I'm going to look in terms of what this kid was saying here. There are quite a few. It's not just one topic that I want to cover in this video, so bear with me. I'm going to cover quite a multiple of issues, some subplots and whatnot, but stay with me. But I just want to play some of the clips that I've seen of this kid, and then I'm going to react to them. And then we're going to discuss all of this later on. The first one comes from the SABC News YouTube channel, where she was interviewed on day one of this so-called national dialogue. And this is what happened.
the having a national dialogue or a dialogue per se is so that people can speak their mind, and then the people that they're speaking to would be here and present to listen to what the citizens of South Africa want. The president left way earlier than expected, and some of the ministers left even before the president left. So that shows us this is just another pep talk, just to smoothen out the anger that is in the citizens of South Africa.
Sure. I'll get your sentiments in just a moment as well, Fezile, but let me stay with what you're saying about essentially the lip service that it seems is taking place here, Sandra. In your mind, I know you said that this was meant to be for people to vent out how they felt, but
by the way, I don't disagree with her that the president and the ministers were not supposed to leave. They were supposed to stay there as long as possible. In fact, they're supposed to stay there the entire time. So I don't disagree with that. So just to be fair, because we need to be fair.
Told that's going to be at the national dialogue stage. What's currently taking place now is more the planning, right, in the lead up to that national dialogue. In your mind, how should this have been planned?
Given a platform for each and every citizen to be able to speak. Remember, this is still as neutral as it is. We need to attack it as neutral as it is, because probably by the time the national dialogue comes, it will be diluted with certain factors where the actual voices of the citizens of South Africa are not actually represented. So this is the time that we actually say it as it is, because it's still fresh and neutral.
All right, Fezile, let me bring you in. Do you feel that young people's voices are being heard enough?
Okay, what exactly did she say there, folks? What did she say? What did you say? Because these are the videos that people are watching, and then they're saying, "Oh wow, what a brilliant young lady! Oh wow, future president." What did she say, folks? What did she say? Okay.
The youth, in a way, that suggests that you all agree on the same things, and I'm sure even young people have disagreements. So I wonder, Sandra, if you were to kind of distill for us what it is that young people are calling for, how would you kind of frame that for us?
Young people are calling for quality basic. I'm going to start with learners. Calling for quality basic education, not the bare minimum that we have right now.
Okay.
We live in a world that is so technologically driven. Okay. We need technological resources in each and every school. The schools that have technological resources right now are the schools that were white dominated. Okay. What about the schools that are in the villages? Are we saying that learners there are not important or that they should not be prioritized? Also, another thing young people need is employment. If the government fails at providing it.
Okay. This is what I want to know. Here's my question. All else being equal, you know that concept in economics, when you are holding all variables as constant, is access to technology, I'm assuming here she means access to computers, the main issue, the main pressing issue that is needed for our education in South Africa? Is that the one thing that's going to move the needle in terms of the quality and the output of our education, and the quality of education that the masses are getting access to computers? Is this? I'm not saying that whether access to computers is important or not. I'm saying when you're looking at a matrix of issues being faced by public education in South Africa, is access to computers and technology and tablets and all of that the main pressing issue that's going to turn the tide in South Africa, in a country where more than 50% of the pupils or students or learners are functionally illiterate, can't pass a basic numeracy test? Is access to computers the most important thing? Also knowing that in every university in South Africa, you can study computer science, computer engineering, IT, information system without any computer background. at all. You don't need to have done having had any computer background in order for you to qualify for computer science or computer engineering, for information systems, for information technology, for all of those tech-facing qualifications. But if you can't pass with reasonable marks English and one home language, say Zulu or Xhosa or Afrikaans, and pass mathematics and sciences or biology, it doesn't really matter. Everything else doesn't matter. You need to pass these foundational subjects, if you want to call them that. So with that in mind, what's the primary issue facing us? I'm asking because these clips are going viral. People are looking at this crap and they're saying, "Oh wow, young lady! Oh wow, brilliant young lady!" And I know a lot of you are also obsessed with this AI crap and don't even understand it, but you're obsessed with it, like you're running with it, as if this AI is going to solve all of your problems, but you can't even supply textbooks to schools. And you want to talk to us about artificial intelligence. You can't even reliably supply textbooks to schools. You can't even reliably make sure that teachers are attending school Monday to Friday every month all year round. You can't even guarantee that. You can't even guarantee that there's running water in the schools. But you want us to talk about AI and technology and all this other crap that you're obsessed with. Are these the pressing issues? This is why I'm saying you folks are so easily impressed by crap. You are so easy. Anything that has nice private school English impresses you. It doesn't matter what the substance in it is. Let's take it further in terms of now she's talking about unemployment. Let's hear what this 16, 17-year-old has to say about unemployment, because you are saying this is the future president, right? If you don't start nothing, there would be nothing. If kids were still kids, where they come to the family meeting and they sit and listen, as it used to be, sit and listen, learn, then we wouldn't be having this issue. But since you are elevating kids and you are telling us the kids are supposed to rule us, kids are the ones that then we need to assess them as I would assess an adult, right? If you don't want me to do that, then don't do this crap of saying future president and all that crap. Don't do it. Anyways, and I don't have anything against this young lady. I wish her all the best. Like really, I really wish her all the best. Okay, let's listen.
Employment, then let the government fund non-government organizations so that they can create employment. What we need as young people, quality and employment.
Is that how government helps with employment? By funding NGOs. Government needs to fund NGOs in order for NGOs to create jobs. Is that the primarily role that government should be playing on the front of job creation? Assuming that the government itself cannot be the primarily job creator. And if we're assuming the case, which is what she's also assuming, would their primary role be to fund NGOs? Is there any thriving economy anywhere in the world whose primary employment comes from NGOs? You can look at the United States of America, you can look at China, Germany, the United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, Singapore. Even middle economies like Brazil and Russia. India, large economy, I think number 4, number 5, 4, number 6. Are any of these companies who have functioning economies? We can even include the UAE there, and Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Are any of these the NGOs, if they are not number 1 as job creator in those countries, are they even number 2? Are they even number 2? Do NGOs play any significant role at all in job creation? Folks, stop pushing to us these kids who have never held a job in their lives, who have not even been to university yet, who don't even know what it is that they don't know. Stop this. This is the problem with South Africa. This is the problem. This is the reason why people leave and don't come back. Because someone is sitting in the RDP house in Tembisa, typing on their phone, saying that this is the future president. This is the crap we're dealing with. This is the crap we're dealing with.
Straightforward.
All right, and Fezile, there's typically a stereotype.
Okay. I'm gonna play you some other videos that she made. Some clips. Let's just call them clips. Yeah, we are really, as a country, we are really in a shit show, guys. We are really in a shit show. South Africans. And my thoughts are about this kid. Okay, she's 16, 17, or 18. My thoughts are, okay, kid, finish high school, go to university. Hopefully, I trust you can go to university. Get a good qualification. Hopefully in something serious and useful, like in the STEM fields. If it's not in the STEMs and it's the humanities, maybe do economics, like a PPE degree, but it must have economics, something that is useful. Go and work for a couple of years. Work for at least 5 to 10 years. Then, after that, young lady, you might be qualified to speak about things like this. Because really, really, folks, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. There's a reason why the rest of the world has order. Order. And seniority. Young people must join the family meeting. Yes, if you want to call this national dialogue a family meeting, so that they can hear what are the issues that are facing us. They might even share some perspectives. But they are there primarily just to learn. Because they don't have enough knowledge to even know what it is that they don't know. They don't have enough life experience. They don't even have enough work experience. They don't even have enough educational background to know what's going on in the world. Which is why the rest of the world has order. This would never happen in China. China doesn't have problems like this where teenagers are telling old people what time it is. It doesn't work like that in the world. And China is lifting more teenagers out of poverty than any other country in the world. So we need to look at the people who are doing this right in terms of how they are doing it. And they have order. Order, folks. Order is very important. And one of the most important principles that are 1,000 years old is that young people need to sit down and learn from people who know more than them and who have more experience than them. I'm speaking as a young person who spent a lot of time debating and delivering speeches and winning public speaking prizes and winning debating prizes when I was 15, 16, 17. Imagining that I know everything, only to realize that I didn't even know if even 1% of what I needed to know. I was so ignorant, I didn't even know what I didn't know. So I know very well this issue of relying on eloquence and charisma. And this issue of eloquence and charisma is such a seduction, because even now when I enter a room, people listen to me because I'm eloquent and I am naturally charismatic. But the problem is that being naturally charismatic and being eloquent does not mean you are competent. So and South Africans need to learn this. South Africans need to learn this. Let's take it further. Let's listen to some other things that she was saying.
We have so much that Burkina Faso does not have. We have gold, we have minerals, but yet we cannot even achieve 2% of what Burkina Faso has done. What?
This was probably the most shocking of the videos that I saw of her, where she was saying that South Africa has so much more than Burkina Faso. We have so much more. We have natural resources. We have all of that, but we can't even achieve half of what Burkina Faso has achieved. Is that so? Let me replay this. Is that so, young lady?
So much that Burkina Faso does not have. We have gold, we have minerals, but yet we cannot even achieve 2% of what Burkina Faso has done. What?
Okay. She didn't even say half of what Burkina Faso has achieved. She said we can't even achieve 2% of what Burkina Faso has achieved. So my question then is, what has Burkina Faso achieved? What is Burkina Faso's Human Development Index compared to South Africa's? I'm just asking. What is Burkina Faso's Human Development Index compared to South Africa? What is Burkina Faso's economic size compared to South Africa? Does Burkina Faso have a functional education system? Okay, let me put it this way. On average, if you were to take a survey in Burkina Faso and ask them, do you want to remain in Burkina Faso or would you want to move to South Africa? And if you were to take a survey in South Africa of do you want to remain in South Africa or do you want to move to Burkina Faso? How do you think the result of the surveys would look like? How do you think they would look like? If Burkina Faso has does Burkina Faso have better outcomes than South Africa? That's really what I'm asking. Is a child in South Africa compared to a child in Burkina Faso have worse outcomes or not? Do the people in Burkina Faso and the people in South Africa have less rights? Which ones are more protected by the law? Which one of these countries have a free judiciary? Which ones of these countries have a functional infrastructure? Folks, this is what happens when you get ignorant kids. You put them on national television. This is what happens. Stupid crap like this happens.